Being analytical and detail-oriented is right up to the market meters of what the Midheaven and Virgo placement is all about. We can really look at the details and analyze them and make them precise and very efficient. And that's the real highlight of the Midheaven Virgo placement because it's all about the structure of life, the details of life, the zongs of life. And if we're not being efficient and productive, where are we embodying the Midheaven and Virgo at? Well, that's what I'm going to be discussing in this video, all about the midheaven and the sign of Virgo in the birth chart and what it means in detail. So you need to know your time of birth to determine the midheaven. To understand the sort of bare bones of the midheaven, you have to understand that the midheaven is about career, your status and reputation in life, the legacy that you want to leave behind, the highest calling in the world. In order to understand the midheaven more in depth, I have a YouTube video all about the midheaven in the birth chart and what it means in astrology. So with the midheaven in Virgo, there is an intense need here for the person, for the native to analyze the world, to make sense of the world, to zing along it, to take the glasses and the eyes and really look to the heavens and say, what is going on beyond that green hill? What is going beyond that blue hill? So, the ways of approaching life are really fixated on the little trees that make up the forest. So analyzing those details, perfecting those details, really taking our magnifying glass and really honing in and focusing in on those little details to make them the best that they can be. Another attribute of Midheaven and Virgo people is that they're highly organized, and organization is one of their top values. They have a system with putting all their books and their decks in cubbies, putting their pencils, having them sharpened, putting them away, having their room very organized, having their office very organized. There is an intense need here to organize life in general in a practical, pragmatic kind of way. Virgo midheaven people also want to be servants, also want to serve others, also want to give to others, make a difference, support others on their path through either practical actions like mowing the lawn, making dinner, putting the dishes away, or through words of affirmation, through giving helpful tips and advice. Whatever the form is, these people are all about being of service to others in the world in a very practical kind of way. Now, it's very important that these people have careers where they can use and express their intellect, because if they're in humdrum, low-down careers where they're in the meters, in the factory, putting the different stamps on the machine and having it go on, that can be very debilitating for someone with a midheaven and Virgo. They have to be able to be in a career where their intellect, their analysis skills can really hone in on whatever needs to be done at that time. And so there has to be this essential use of the intellect in the wrongs and the rights of the world. Now, they want to be effective in the world. They're also seeking the most efficient system and the most efficient way to go about things. They're always looking to make things more efficient. They make great solution finders, creators. They make great problem solvers. Finding an issue, let's say the machine doesn't work. They're going to go in and they're going to fix whatever needs to be fixed in the machine with their analysis skills. And so that machine can work more effectively. That's where their strong suit highlands at. That's where their garages and trash cans at. This is where they thrive, is creating solution to the problems that come up in their life, in their work, in their home, in their career, whatever the area of life may be. They want to contribute to others' lives in a positive way. They want to leave behind a legacy of service. They're always humbly looking to improve their world and to improve the lives of those around them. And they're not pride, they're not showy, they're not braggy about it. They are very, there's a humility here with this placement that is absolutely remarkable. They're all about being organized and practical. How can you make an organized system if you're not already practical, if you're not putting the ducks in order, if you're not putting the blinds up the windows, This is where they can really shine. It's their organizational abilities and their practical logic mind. And they can also be very interested in multiple different fields, multiple different subject matters, multiple different niches. So they want to put themselves into various fields, various professions, because it's hard for them to choose just one. And in their life, they may be in one career and then a completely different career over there, a completely different career over there. So, they're very much about changing what they're doing if it dies, if it's not stimulating, if it's not efficient. They want to die it away and find a career that matches up to their need for the adrenaline to be rushing when they use their analytical skills. Now, Virgo is an earth sign, but is also the air earth sign, meaning it's very logical. So Virgo, while it's an earth sign, it has a fair amount of air in it. Just like Taurus is the water earth sign, Capricorn is the fire earth sign, and etc. So when it comes to Virgo, it is an earth sign. It does relate to the physical world, but on an intellectual, logical place. That's why Virgo is ruled by Mercury, which also rules Gemini. So all the mutable signs have a fair amount of air in them, and Virgo is the air earth sign. So careers that deal with the physical body, that deal with physical health, physical reality in general, that deal with taking care of your health, drinking enough water, eating fruits and vegetables, getting sleep, um, mindfulness and meditation. This is where they really thrive when it comes to careers that deal with the physical body and reality. Healthcare can be a really, really popular profession for them, as well as being an educator, teaching and serving others in that kind of way. Those are some possible career options for them. Now, as I've stated before, Virgo midheaven people thrive at organization. They're very organized people. The more that they grow older, the wiser they grow, the older they grow, the more efficient they become, the more they tap into this need, this innate soul need for efficiency, for luckiness, for commonalness. This is really their avenue, their wheelhouse. So they want to make things as simple and straightforward as possible. They're not looking for complicated things. They're taking a lot of information, a lot of complex steps and details, and condensing it down into something manageable, into something understandable, into something direct. That's what they're really looking for, to the point. They want to get to the root core of issues. They want to find the truth of the issue, get to really where, the good stuff really is. And getting right down to the heart of an issue, digging until they find the truth, because Virgo is related to Scorpio. Both of these signs are about digging into the depths of things. So Virgo can really dig into the details to find what's actually, the facades beyond the facades, beyond the um the masks that people put on, and to find the truth of who they really are, of what's really going on. They're very analytical, and they're always looking to improve their surrounding. That's something very, very important for them. With whatever the career that they decide to pursue, it has to be meaningful. It has for them to feel like they're giving, they're serving, they're making a difference in some very significant kind of way. And so they need to feel this in order for their career to be a success in their life. Now, they also need motivation. They need to feel, they need to be motivated in their career. They're all about coming to practical conclusions, solving the problem, getting the ducks in order, getting the pencils in line, getting the arrows in the right place, and coming to practical conclusions, reaching that database and finding the true answers where it lies. So coming to these really practical conclusions is what they're all about. Any career which allows them and empowers them to use their analytical skills is the right avenue for them. They can make good managers. They want to make the world more efficient. They're great researchers. They research the details of a situation before they act on that goal, before they pursue whatever goal that they have in mind to pursue. They want to make a thorough kind of plan. They want to plan things out very methodically, very carefully. And so they can make a plan that is really well thought out. All the details are taken care of before they implement the plan. And so they want to work hard to achieve their goals. Hard work is a really important value for them. They're very hardworking and they can solve real world problems. Um, and they don't want to be in the spotlight. They'd rather be building the sets of a play rather than being the lead role. They want to be in the background. They want to be the assistant worker, the service worker, instead of the one getting all the attention, because that attention can make them feel self-conscious. So they also want to be productive. They have high standards for themselves and others. They have a really, really long checklist of standards of expectations they have for themselves and others, and they can fall into criticism and perfectionism um, when they don't meet up to their standards and expectations. So they need to be mindful of not being too hard on themselves and giving themselves some slack, giving themselves some grace. So it may be hard for them to give up control because Virgo, is an earth sign and wants to be in control of its environment. Precision and dedication is really where they can thrive. Very precise and dedicated. Anything involving details and organization is really important. Duty, carrying out your duty, they're very meticulous and methodical. They strive for excellence in whatever they do. They strive to make things the best that they can be. Um, Again, possible careers would be healthcare and medicine, research, education, and organization, and any career where they can organize themselves very, very good. Um, they want to overcome perfectionism and self-criticism, very important. Balance the details with the big picture. Yes, go into the details, but do not forget the bigger picture. That's what they need to balance. They also need to balance work with self-care, recharging of batteries, leisure life, family life, home life, relaxed life, rec life. They need to balance these things out very, very carefully and very mindfully. So they're very into alternative medicine, wellness practices. They're good at being an educator. They're highly intelligent, book smart. They're very, very knowledgeable. They're very intellectually savvy on many, many different types of subjects. They act with patience and cautiousness on the public stage. They're good planners and they're very detail-oriented. They're great researchers, as I said before. They're all about dissecting life and the world around them. They can be self-critical. They need to have compassion for themselves and others, because if that compassion is not there, then where is it going to lie in waste time? They're all about forming constructive insights as well as supportive ones, which can be in place of that type of that kind of criticism. So is their criticism really mean and hurtful and conniving? Or is it with a positive intention? Is it something where the other person can actually do something about that? Is it constructive criticism? That's what they need to evaluate before they criticize others. So they need to be aware of self-destructive thoughts and words to themselves, how they turn out on themselves, how they criticize themselves. It's very important for them to acknowledge their strengths while still reaching for improvement, to acknowledge where they're already strong, what they've already mastered, what they've already overcome, and also reaching for improvement, reaching to become better than they already are, reaching to step the stones of life into that cave in lions. Um, they're wanting solid systems in place. This is all about organizing their tasks and not stopping until their to-do list is complete. It's all about organizing. Organization is very, very um huge for them in tackling the chores and tasks on their to-do list. They need to balance their need for structure and order um with new and innovative ways of doing things. So the same way of doing things that are structured and ordered needs to be balanced with new, maybe easier, revolutionary ways of approaching situations, of approaching life in general. So it's very important for them to trust and go along with their intuition. That's very important, instead of their egoic need for structure. There is a need for order and precision. They're great at working in healthcare. They value integrity and competence. Producing excellent results through dedication and hard work is very important to them. Tangibly improving the world around them in their workplace or community. A need and a calling to support others is very important. And so they put in a lot of effort. They commit, they make things about the best that they can be. They don't do things half-assed. They put their full amount of effort to whatever they do. So that is all that you need to know about the Midheaven and Virgo and the birth chart. I hope that you found this video helpful. And if you did, subscribe to my channel, like the video, share this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.